Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
And this is our first look inside the longest drug tunnel ever found on California's U.S.-Mexico border. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Lindsay Pena. That discovery was made just half a mile west of the Otay Mesa port of entry. 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala is joining us. And Mimi, no arrests have been made and no drugs were found.
No arrests have been made, no drugs found, Lindsay, Steve, but at the time of the discovery, the tunnel, the portion that extended into the U.S. was actually blocked off at the surface, so it didn't appear to be in use, but still authorities believe it was used to smuggle in drugs for a really long time. We do have some video to show you from inside of that tunnel. San Diego Border Patrol agents are calling this a high-level narco tunnel. It was finally exposed in late August after a multi-year investigation. And it's very highly sophisticated, too. It includes an elevator, complex drainage system, high-voltage electrical cables, and a lot more. And it stretches over 3/4 of a mile from Tijuana to San Diego. The tunnel begins in an industrial area in Mexico that's just about 1/2 mile west of the Otay Mesa port of entry, if you are familiar with this area. Mexican authorities discovered the entrance to the tunnel, and the San Diego Tunnel Task Force began investigating. It travels into the U.S., extending more than 4,000 feet from the border, but again did not appear to be in use at the time of discovery. The Tunnel Task Force found hundreds of bags actually blocking the exit that went into the U.S., and although no drugs were ever found, they're confident it was used by cartels for drug smuggling.
We aren't naive enough to think the traffickers won't continue to try and breach our border. The DEA and our partners on the Tunnel Task Force will continue to use all of our joint resources to ensure they fail.
And the Department of Homeland Security is reminding everyone that they do offer cash rewards for tips that lead to the discovery of tunnels like that one. We're live along the border. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
Thank you, Mimi. We checked with the Border Patrol and they told us there have been 72 tunnels uncovered along the border since 1993. Over the last 4 years, there have been 16. 2 in 2019, 3 in 2018, 9 in 2017, and 2 in 2016.
Now to a health alert. The number of cases of the coronavirus is continuing to climb worldwide. A World Health Organization, the World Health Organization that is, they will meet tomorrow to decide if the outbreak should be declared a global emergency. So here are the latest numbers. More than 7,000 cases have been confirmed in mainland China. 170 people there have died from the virus. There are 5 reported cases here in the U.S., including here in California.
The whole world needs to be on alert now. The whole world needs to take action and be ready for any cases that come.
And this morning, a plane full of U.S. diplomats and citizens landed in California after being evacuated from the epicenter of the outbreak, Wuhan, China. At least 20 domestic airports will screen passengers for symptoms, not including San Diego International. The White House may suspend all flights between the U.S. and China. Here in San Diego, a local Chinese school is also taking precautions as county health officials await the results of one possible case of coronavirus. Our 10 News reporter Rena Nakano joins us from the county administration building there. So Rena, when can we expect the next update?
Well, we were supposed to get those results yesterday, but it is just taking a long time. The CDC has a long queue of those test kits, but unfortunately, San Diego's results still not done. But they do say the general risk to the general public is very, very low unless you or someone you know went to China or any of those infected areas. So we went to a local bilingual Chinese school to ask what they're doing to make sure their students are safe. Keeping up with hygiene is a priority at the Chinese bilingual preschool of San Diego.
When they sneeze or cough, they have to try to cover their mouth under their shirts, into their hands.
But starting this week, every child coming into class must go through one more step.
Take the temperature. How are you this morning?
Good.
And then I'll put it on the forehead. So that's perfect.
Before they enter the classroom, we have to take a kid's temperature before they enter the school.
Since the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan City, China, staff at the school added this protocol to check for a fever. If a child has a high temperature, they must turn around and go home.
It's just for our comfort and the safety for our children and the staff. We just want to take extra precaution about it.
Out of the 58 preschool children, 1 recently came back from a vacation in China. However, school officials say the family did not go anywhere near Wuhan.
We did monitor the child very closely, and this child didn't have any fever or anything, and the parent didn't have as well.
Since they started checking temperatures, luckily, they have not had to turn away anyone. But school staff says they'll continue doing this because health officials say the new strain of coronavirus isn't the only thing going around.
Not only is influenza around, but respiratory syncytial virus, rhinovirus, adenovirus, and other human strains of coronavirus that aren't novel, they're old strains.
Yeah, lots of stuff to look out for. The kids also are required to spend 20 seconds to wash their hands at that school. Just moments ago, the people at County Health, they also announced that they will be increasing surveillance, contact, and communication with every health provider within the county, and that if this virus does come to San Diego, they will be, quote, totally prepared. Reporting live in downtown, I'm Rena Nakano. 10 News.
Rita, thank you. Stay with 10 News for continuing coverage of this story. The creative solution one local group came up with to get much needed medical supplies to parts of China which is affected by the coronavirus outbreak. We're going to have that story coming up new at 6.
New information is emerging about a dramatic fire that erupted on the 6th floor of a high-rise apartment building in LA, prompting a massive response from firefighters on ladder trucks and in helicopters. 8 people were injured. As reporter Annabelle Munoz shows us, one person even tried to escape the inferno by climbing across the building.
A rescue on the 5th floor, CPR in progress for a severe burn. 5th floor. Still working fire approximately the 5th floor.
As flames erupt and black smoke shoots out through the windows, a man clings to the side of this high-rise building. Many people below capturing the dramatic moments and firefighters' efforts to calm and help him down. Jenna Fabian was one of them and spoke with Eyewitness News.
He looked very ashy, and it was just a really crazy experience. And for a long time, you were wondering where's the ladder? They couldn't get to him. And eventually they do, but there was a bunch of people around me. We're standing there watching this happen, and thank God they rescued him.
The crowd cheered once he was safe. 11 people were injured in the fire that broke out on the 6th floor of this 25-story residential high-rise. The fire department making the rare move to evacuate residents by helicopter from the rooftop, hoisting them up to safety and taking 6 patients to the hospital.
The most serious patients were both 30-year-old males, one of which is in grave condition.
Some residents told us they heard no fire alarms.
Not one fire alarm. There's no sprinklers in the building. And there wasn't a single noise. If people hadn't run down the hallway and you hadn't heard that, everybody would have still been asleep.
Stuff started falling on my balcony. I didn't even know there was a fire going on. And I heard people running down the steps. Then when I looked out, I saw that there's stuff falling on my balcony and there's a fire.
The youngest injured was a 3-month-old child who suffered smoke inhalation. It was one of 2 high-rise fires in West LA this morning. Authorities say they are looking into any connection between the two, saying it's unclear if this fire off Wilshire and Barrington was arson or accidental.
That was Annabelle Munoz reporting. In 2013, a fire at the same building injured 5 people. The blaze began in a unit on the 11th floor and sent thick smoke into the building's upper floors. Fire sprinklers were not required when the building was built in the early 1960s.
Today, community members called out city council members for not following through on their pledges to ban the use of chokeholds by San Diego police officers. This comes after an officer-involved shooting in Oak Park on Friday in which police had the suspect in a chokehold. Police say the man went for an officer's gun before they fatally shot him. Oak Park residents say they are losing trust in San Diego's police department, and they do now demand answers from the department.
I have a lot of respect for police officers, but we work so hard to gain respect. I mean, to get that cohesiveness, that trust issue in the community, and now it's going down again, and we have to rebuild it again, but I'm not giving up.
The Racial Justice Center of San Diego echoed those calls to do away with the use of the chokehold by police.
Turning now to our weather, Santa Ana winds bringing warm, dry, and gusty conditions across the county through the rest of the week.
Our meteorologist Angelica Campos is here with a look at those conditions right now. She's been tracking them.
Yeah, so far we've seen gusts over 50 miles per hour in Ramona. And at this hour, the wind gust averaging 22 in Julian, about 28 in Ramona as we speak, and averaging in the mid-20s also in Oceanside. So it is windy, not just in our mountains, also near the coast, under a wind advisory. It was issued earlier this morning, but it will only continue for another hour, just a little bit under an hour. It expires at 6 p.m. That's for the coast and deserts. If you live in our inland communities or our mountains, we do expect Santa Ana winds to continue to be a concern through at least the middle of the day on Friday. I'll pinpoint how strong they could be through the next couple of days.
All right, thanks, Angelica. San Diego State secured $350 million to buy the Mission Valley Stadium site. Today, the CSU Board of Trustees approved the university's development plan and allocated that money for the project. This comes after the San Diego City Council filled in some gaps in the deal this past Monday. But the agreement is still a few weeks away from being finalized. In addition to a new stadium, that deal also includes a satellite campus, 10% affordable housing on site, plus 80 acres of parks and open space.
Kobe Bryant's wife is breaking her silence on social media just 3 days after her husband and her 13-year-old daughter died in that helicopter crash.
Vanessa Bryant changed her profile photo on Instagram to a photo of her husband and daughter embracing.
As ABC's Marcy Gonzalez shows us, this is just one of the many emotional tributes that have emerged.
Flying through the thick fog, this is the last known sighting of the helicopter carrying Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others just minutes before Sunday's deadly crash. Investigators now say the chopper did not have a recommended warning system to alert the pilot he was too close to land, though it's unclear whether it would have prevented the accident.
It was banking and turning. Really steep.
The NTSB still trying to figure out why the helicopter banked left before suddenly descending, falling for nearly a minute before hitting this hillside.
The descent rate for the helicopter was over 2,000 feet a minute. We know that this was a high energy impact crash. The helicopter was in one piece when it impacted the terrain.
Emotional tributes for all the victims, including here, Bryant's former team, the LA Lakers, practicing for the first time since the crash.
Just a deeply saddening time for all of us. His influence will be felt forever.
Echoing sentiments shared by longtime friends, including Shaquille O'Neal.
Kobe, Kobe!
Leading fans in this chant and tearing up during TNT's NBA pregame show.
The fact that we're not going to be able to joke at his Hall of Fame ceremony. Those are the things that you can't get back.
And People magazine reports Bryant's wife of 18 years is struggling to keep it together, but, quote, is working very hard to pull it together for the other girls. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Heartbreaking times for the Bryant family.